Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Dragon Tree Reads. I'm Lizzie with Dragon Tree Emporium, and today we're gonna go over all of my reads from January. Yep, there we go. Let him get up there. But before we get started, I just want to take a minute because I live in the United States, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, also live in the United States. And well, honestly, it's rough. And I want to acknowledge that while also acknowledging the fact that this is a form of escapism for a lot of us. Reading and crafting is escapism, and we need that. We should have it. We have to have it to survive. But shit is going down. And there are pressures from a lot of sides to go out and do something. And some of us can't do that. But we can still make phone calls. We can still write emails, write letters, make posts on social media, etc., etc. And one of the things that I am going to do is, I don't know how many of you are in the crafting sphere, specifically like knitting and crochet circles, but the crafters of Minnesota have joined together, and they are honoring their Scandinavian heritage that I'm sure a lot of them have, to make a form of resistance that crafters can do. And it is called the Red Tassel Movement, I think. Basically what it is they're, in World War II, Norwegian knitters made these red hats with a tassel on the top. And they started to wear them as a form of revolt, as a form of protest against the Nazis. And with everything that happened in Minnesota a week ago, only a week ago, 2 weeks ago, anyways, they are repeating that movement. And so I will post in the link in the doobly-doo to a knit pattern and also a crochet pattern for red hats. I am going to be making them for the foreseeable future. If you know me and you want one, let me know. I'm going to be donating them. I'm going to find maybe an immigration group. I'm not sure. I want to donate some. I want to just give them out. So if you want one, let me know. This is what they look like. Oh, there'd be a picture here someplace. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because it's rough. And yes, we need escapism, but we also need to do what we can. With that said, let's get into the fun stuff. So the month of January was my month to do, I did Leandra, the TBR-0's TBR-athon for 2026. So I did Leandra, the TBR-0's TBR-athon 2026. She had 3 different game boards. The first one that I did, which I just did the first weekend of the month, during her sprint, and that was TBR Explorer. And I will post that here someplace. So basically, you had to you were kind of like writing your own story. And so you had to pick out the prompts that you were going to use, and then those fell into, there were more like specific actual what you were to read based on that prompt. And so it was originally set up to do a 12-month long TBR game. So it was ideal to pick out 12 different little prompts to do, spread across genre, setting, main character, review, and plot. Well, I knew that I was only going to be reading it for the weekend, so like 1 to 2 books max. I did go ahead and pick out 12, actually I think I rolled a die for this, 12 different prompts, and somehow I managed to get like one book covered 10 of them. So it was insane how it happened. I'm not even sure like how I did that. I did. Okay. So yeah, so I rolled a mystery and a fantasy for the genre. For setting, I had red cover, orange cover, a book with a home or a bridge on the cover, an item you just like on the cover, a weapon or armor on the cover, and a flower on the cover. And then it was a world-saving storyline, a crime or a mysterious narrative, and a story with romance. And then I rolled 3 stars for my review, which meant that you were going to try and pick out a book that was about a 3-star rating for you. And somehow, the Rivers of London series, the first book called Midnight Riot, by Ben Aaronovitch, fits 10 of those. So it is a mystery. It's mystery fantasy. So there's genre. It has red on the cover. A good portion of the cover is red. It has a house on the cover. It has an item I dislike on the cover. That's a baby. It has a weapon or armor on the cover. It actually has like a shovel, which is used as a weapon in the book. And it has a flower on the cover. It is a world-saving storyline, although it wasn't as big in this book, but it gets more high stakes, I guess. Like the greater potential for world-ending events in the rest of the series. So like each book it gets worse, if you know what I mean. And then a crime or a mysterious narrative. Well, it is a mystery. It's a murder mystery, essentially. So, yeah, got that. Story with romance. I was tempted to say that it fulfilled this plot. Because I feel like it's the start of a romance. The main character is quite objectifying of women. Quite a potential man whore. Nothing really happens in the book, but there's that vibe, and it feels like the author is trying to put him in a relationship with one of the many women that he is attracted to. So maybe I didn't, though. I saved that. And then it was about a 3-star review for me. So, A+ work. And then I just happened to have the book Remain by Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan, which is a story with a romance in it. And so I was able to fulfill that prompt. Very good book. That one was much better than Midnight Riot. Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan. Pardon me. Ooh. Two very good writers in their own right. I want to see this as a movie. I mean, honestly, it's M. Night Shyamalan, so you already got that. Plus, multiple Nicholas Sparks novels have been made into movies. It's a shoehorn. I would be surprised if the movie hasn't already been greenlit. You know, the main character has major depressive disorder. His sister dies at the beginning of the book. He falls into a major depression. He actually goes into a hospital for it. And the book actually starts like right after he is released. And what he first does is he is designing a house for one of his friends. And so he is traveling to the site so that he can, take a look at it, work one-on-one with his friend and his friend's wife. And he meets somebody and very quickly starts to like her. I wouldn't call it a happy ending though. But I'm not going to say anything else. It was a very good book. I gave it 4 or 5 stars, I believe. So that was the first weekend. And then throughout the entire month of January, I was doing the Lost in the Library, which was so much fun. Leandra made this adorable map. I love it so much. So each of the 4 corners and the middle were different genres, and you were to roll a die and like move your piece around the map, and then every time you hit one of those 4 corners or one of those like big genre spots, you were to read a book of that genre. I fudged with it a little bit and made it my own. So what I did was, instead of reading that genre in that room, I did the surrounding pieces. And so if it was immediately touching one of those genre rooms, then it was that genre. If it was like one away, then it was a blend of that genre and the next genre. And if it was like a random one that like was maybe 3 away from any genre, I kind of just like picked and chose, depending on where it was heading, where it was coming from, etc. So I did it a little bit differently than what a lot of people did. But oh my gosh, it was so amazing. I did also double up all of these prompts. So I ended up with like 43 roles. Not all of them are books. Some of them are like activities. Most of them are books. I did go through and double up as many of those as I could. So I did not, in any way, shape, or form, finish it. So, like I said, I already read Rivers of London and Remain for the weekend. Then I read The Lost World, which fit for on my TBR prompt. I read The Mother Tongue, which was a really great book about the history of women's words. Fantastic. It's nonfiction, but it was amazing. There was a whole bunch I didn't read. And then I read The Gay Who Turned Kaiju. I read I'm No Philosopher, but I Got Thoughts. And I read The Terror and The Calculating Stars. Now, The Terror and Calculating Stars are not for the library board itself. Those are actually for the year-long game that I'm playing, which is the Map of Stories, which is this map right here. And it has all of these different prompts. Oh, did I not save the prompts? Well, shoot. Okay. So each location on the map corresponds to a different genre. And then within that, there are like 3 different prompts that you have to hit. Depending on if you do those 3 prompts and the genre is what determines, like, you can get gold star badges, silver star badges, or rose badges, depending on how many of those prompts you do and if it is within the location genre, if that makes sense. So for January, we were in the Old Growth Forest, which is historical fiction. And then the 3 different prompts were historical setting, 1+ person on the cover, and a booktuber recommendation. So if the book was a historical setting, it had 1+ person on the cover, it was a booktuber recommendation, and it was a historical fiction book, then you got the gold star. And that was The Terror by Dan Simmons. It takes place in oh my goodness. It takes place in the late 1800s. No, mid 1800s, during the exploration of the Arctic when they were trying to find the Northwest Passage. So, historical fiction, historical setting. There is, you can see, like, if you zoom in really, really close on the cover, you can see multiple people. So there's at least 1 person on the cover. And I got this recommendation from a booktuber. She is a new booktuber to me, so I do not remember her name. Shoot, I will find it, and I hopefully will find it and put it in the doobly-doo. So because of all of that, I get the gold badge. Then, Calculating Stars. Yes. It is also historical fiction. It is a historical setting. It takes place in the 1950s. There is at least 1 person on the cover. I don't think this was a booktuber recommendation. But that is my silver star. Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Hold on. Right. Yes, I did not have to meet the location requirement. So it was a booktuber recommendation. Oh, I think it was the same booktuber, actually, because I think I think this booktuber was doing a video on historical fiction books, because I had a whole list from them. So, yes. And then my rose badge, which I didn't complete, which is fine. You just have to complete 1 prompt. So I was going to read one of the books that I have that just, like, it's a romance novel. It just has a couple people on the cover. But I never got to that. So there's that. And then I am also reading / read. It's the last day of January. I'm finishing up books today. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I did read this back in May. Absolutely loved it. But I'm reading it again because I am doing. Let me see if I can get this to show up. The Fantasy Traveling Book Club. Allie's Annotation is doing a fantasy traveling book club. We've already signed up for it, so you can't join this year. That doesn't mean you can't join next year. So I'm reading The Starless Sea for that, which means I am annotating it. Look at, I'm just over halfway. I have to read all of this today so that I can send it out to the next person. And if you're a part of the annotation book club, I cannot wait for you to read this book. This book is so good. I love it. It is mysterious and twisty and with a little bit of a love story, but also found family. And it's all about time and fate and deciding who you are and living up to that and trusting your instincts, and it's so good. I love it so much. So yes, I am reading it for the second time in a year. This time I am very much annotating a whole bunch of it. These flags are not my notes. These flags indicate other things, which I'm not going to say what they indicate, just in case somebody here is also a part of it and is going to read it, and I want to see if they can figure out what I'm marking. But I'm making a lot of notes. There's a lot of underlined passages and phrases and notes in the margins because I have a lot to say about this book, and I'm trying not to give anything away. So I'm trying to take notes as if I have never read it before. Am I succeeding? I don't know. All right. Now we're gonna do a quick little, I don't know what to call this, review bomb? No, that's not the right phrase. Anyways, I am going to go over the books that I read in December, and I am just going to simply tell you what I rated them out of 5 stars. And I want December only. Sorry, Storygraph is not wanting to work for me right now. December, let's go. There we go. No, that's still showing all of 2025. December, let's go. Okay. No, not December. January. That's why I'm struggling. Wow. Hey guys, did you know it was January already? Okay. Alright, there we go. Remain by Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan, 4.5 stars. Midnight Riot by Ben Aronovich, 3.5 stars. I'm being generous. Don't Let the Forest In. I forgot I read that. It's because I wasn't really reading it for a TBR-athon. That's why. Don't Let the Forest In. 5 stars by C.G. Drews. Hands down, amazing. The Lost World by Michael Crichton. 4.75 stars. Mother Tongue, The Surprising History of Women's Words by Jenny Nuttall, 4 stars. Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews, 5 stars. I'm No Philosopher, But I Got Thoughts, Mini Meditations for Saints, Sinners, and the Rest of Us by Kristen Chenoweth, 4.5 stars. It's funny. The Gay Who Turned Kaiju by Kazuki Minamoto, 4 stars. That was, rough in spots. And then Matilda by Roald Dahl, 3.75 stars. Matilda is for Herked, Secret Prompt. And then The Terror by Dan Simmons. I'm not quite done with it. I will be done with it soon. It's probably going to get like a 4 stars, maybe. It's very long. The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, that's going to be 5 stars. And Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal, amazing, 5 stars. So good. So that was my January. February is Smudathon, which, if you didn't know, I am running a readathon called Smudathon in the month of February. The announcement video will be in the doobly-doo, mainly because I don't know how to do the little, like, annotation link video thing. I haven't figured that out yet. But yeah, Smudathon, come join us. It is very chill. You get to read smut all month, romance all month. You know, if you don't like either of those and you want to try and fit some horror books into the prompts, go ahead. I'm not gonna police what you read. This is just here for a good time, not a long time. That's it. Yeah. Fight the fascists. Read a lot of books and fight the fascists. That's all I've got to say today. Bye!